Guys, I think we need to do an unbox in a flash. Hey guys, welcome back again to Dave's Dimension. Welcome back again for another video. Welcome back again to your channel. There's your home for tech, toys, and talk. And of course, you guys know it, the channel where chaos and insanity will always reign supreme. So we're back again with an unbox. This one is, well, it's a rerun. What do I mean by that? I think we're going to get into it. Let me give you guys a little bit of an explanation. But before we do that, you might see, yeah, I have the printer running in the background. We're doing a little side project right now. Doing a little, yeah, I'm actually printing mini puffs. It's my first run doing some mini puffs, like the one I've shown off on a few streams, on a few videos before. I was able to get the files, and we're doing a full color print, and in another 15 hours and 23 minutes, we'll know what's going on with that. But that's not what the video is about, guys. As collectors, as toy collectors, action figure collectors, or just collectors in general, sometimes you get something that's awesome. You get a piece in your collection that you just love, you cherish it. It maybe has some hidden meaning, some inner importance to it, right? And sometimes you have to let that thing go. Um, I've recently gotten back into Hot Toys a couple years ago. Um, I got my first Hot Toy. We were doing Stream for the Cure, and there was a Hot Toy, an Endgame Captain America that was donated for the stream, and we gave that away along with a whole bunch of other prizes. But because I was hyping up the Captain America Endgame so much, I hyped it up so much that I myself wound up, putting money aside, cutting some corners, and going without a few things, so I could afford and get my own Endgame cap, which I did. Along with, I had won a Spider-Man 2099 from a trivia contest. Um, I had that, and also I had my, of course, the Green Ranger. You can't get rid of the Green Ranger. And that was a 3-0, 1/6 scale. Not a hot toy, but still, it's in that scale. So that, and I also had a Flash, CW, the Flash, as portrayed by Grant Gustin on the CW show for like 9 years. Um, you know, Barry Allen, the fastest man alive, the Flash. Um, that one I got at Steel City Con because I remember Steel City Con because my wife dressed up as one of the Ravagers from Guardians of the Galaxy. I dressed up obviously in Ghostbuster gear. I ran into Sleeping Collectibles and his son Easty. Um, and he gave me a little bit of advice. He said, go around, talk to the collectors, and see if maybe you can talk them down, or maybe what's the best. Not necessarily say, hey, what's the lowest you can do, or like, hey, what's the best you can do on this. I'm kind of really interested. He said, trying to see if they'll bundle and give you deals, because a lot of the collectors, or a lot of these cons, the exhibitors, the vendors, they don't necessarily want to bring everything back home with them. So I came across two vendors selling the CW Flash, and the one that was offering the lower deal, that's the one I wound up with, and I brought him home. He was one of my favorites. But what happened was I had some health expenses I needed to take care of. What's more important, having some awesome collectibles or your health? Obviously, your health is more important. So what I did was I actually sold Captain America, which I really didn't want to do. I sold CW Flash, and I also sold Spider-Man 2099. So those three Hot Toys left me. I sold them. I got less than what I actually paid for. It's the nature of the beast. Usually, if you're selling Hot Toys secondary, you're not going to get exactly what you paid for them brand new. There are going to be some price changes. But that same kind of methodology, if you will, I almost said mythology, come on. That same kind of train of thought, or that same kind of principle, worked out in my favor because, as you guys have seen, I've been collecting some Hot Toys, which I really need to unbox, but someone who was in a similar situation as me needed to sell some Hot Toys to pay for some for family members' medical bills. I reached out to the guy. He wasn't listing this hot toy, but I said, "Hey, I see the hot toys you're selling. Well, let me ask you. I also see a flash back there. Are you willing to part with that?" The answer is yes. So I'm going to be unboxing the Flash, the Hot Toy Flash, from the CW, that is, Grant Gustin's portrayal of the Flash, for the second time. For the second time. I did it when I first got it, but now I'm getting fresh eyes on it. There's nothing more awesome. There really is nothing more awesome than when you're a collector, you maybe say goodbye to an item. You maybe not necessarily really want to say goodbye to that item, but guess what? You do, but then you find yourself in a set of circumstances where you find yourself in a position where you can get that piece, that collect, whether it's an action figure, whether it's a statue, a vase, a portrait. I mean, whatever you're collecting, maybe it's a special prop that you use as a cosplayer. Maybe you're a camera collector. Maybe you're a video game collector. You sold some of your video game collection because you had some bills, and then you come across that cartridge again, that disc again, and now it's back in your collection. Maybe you had to sell a system. You come across another system, and now it's almost like you're feeling a little bit restored in a way. That's how I'm feeling about this. I have not unboxed them. I have not pulled them out of the box just yet. We're gonna do that right now, guys. Right now. So, yes, I know it's not. I know it's not a brand new hot toy, but it's new again to me, and we're gonna do an unbox. And even though I know everything that's in here, it's still gonna be. It's gonna be amazing for me to kind of have eyes on it again, to unbox it and to display it once more, and to put it up on the shelf with Green Ranger. These two are old friends. They're going to be good friends again. I also have a White Ranger to unbox in a future video as well. So let's go. Okay, so there we go. We got the Grant Gustin the Flash with his Season 1 logo right here. Season 1 and kind of part of 2. Now, those that aren't familiar, there was a long-running TV show on the CW network, part of the Arrowverse, of Barry Allen, who is a kind of nerdy, klutzy forensic scientist. He's basically the low man on the totem pole at Central City Police. He's the guy you go to when you need things analyzed, but he, in his spare time, is also looking for evidence to set his father free, because his father was falsely imprisoned for the murder of his wife, Barry's mother. Barry always believed that there was this man in yellow who streaked away and who was the real killer. And then, of course, one day, Barry gets struck by lightning. All these chemicals inside his lab fall on him, and a combination makes him the fastest man alive. So now, not only can he help the police with forensics, but now he's the fastest man alive, and him and his friends at Star Labs, they hunt down metahumans, other people with powers, because there was a particle accelerator explosion that created the lightning cloud and the lightning bolt that gave Barry his powers. Of course, on the back we get your legal jargon. We're not going to bore you with that stuff. I love that this has a sleeve. There we go. There we go. I have actually considered possibly getting the sleeve autographed. I'm going to Fan Expo Canada in Toronto next month, and one of the actors, there was an actress who actually voiced Gideon. There's a little bit of wear on here, but I'm perfectly fine. Yeah, you can keep it in a display box, but I'm going to have him out. You have to have him out. Oh, he looks like he resealed it. Or can I? No, I'm going to open it from the bottom. See, it looks like he did that to give the perception. How theoretical am I? Which was a tagline from the show itself. I shouldn't say a tagline, but it was something that Barry had questioned the supposed Dr. Wells. Toss the box over to the side. And there we go. We have our effects right here. we get these very nice orange and gold like lightning effects that you can wrap around Barry's arms, his feet. Give you guys a nice little up close. I need to reacclimate myself to. This is so awesome. It's like I have an old friend back. As goofy as that sounds. Now, what's great about this is we get several sets of hands here. Now, if you notice, he does have his white emblem put on. We can actually switch it back to Season 1, but the white emblem really does pop. And, of course, we have more accessories. I forgot the... Oh, jeez, I'm blanking on the name of it, but this device that's wrapped around his emblem, Tachyon Enhancer, that's what it is. Tachyon Enhancer actually gave Barry a boost, made him go faster. First time he wore that, he went so fast that he actually ripped through the dimensional barriers and wounded up on Earth 38, which was the world of Supergirl. So they actually teamed up. Of course, we have Jay Garrick's helmet here. We have Barry's civilian head. And also we have the hood pulled down, so you can actually have it where the hood is down on his neck. And of course we get extra hands, and of course we have his base. Let's see, is the base intact? Yes, it is. Because the base will actually connect onto this right here. This was the infamous poster he had for Barry for the Flash, where he was streaking across the city. And that's where kind of the origination of the lightning bolt also comes from. Oh, he's got everything in here. He's got the paperwork and everything. Yeah, I know. In a way, I feel bad that I'm taking it. Not that I'm taking advantage of, but the guy who found himself in a similar situation where he had to sell his collectibles. I actually bought another collectible from him that's going to be coming very soon. It's something that I just couldn't pass up, and you guys will be finding out very soon. But there we go. Yeah, I mean, it is a little wrinkled. I could probably take a little steam, from, like maybe from iron or something. Just run it over to help get some of the lines out. But there we go. It is a very good likeness. That is with the cowl with his helmet on. Now I will say this: if you have this, if you plan on getting him, you have to be careful because the lightning bolts are pointy. They are really pointy, but also you could easily break them. And I would try to avoid that. That's one thing that I tried to do when I had him the first time around. You got the lightning bolts on the back here and on the front. So you definitely want to be extra careful with that. But this is so true to the show. I mean, just looking at his boots right here, a little gold on the inside, going up here. You know, we have like the little slits on his knees for when he's running, and that was something from the show as well. He's got those little slits right here represented for his buttocks. You know what? When you're running around, he even has that on his sleeves, and this was something very screen accurate, and I love that they have that in here. Threading. Now this is a figure that has been. This is a hot toy that has been out for several years now. Maybe 3 or 4, maybe. Stitching on him is still intact. You can see the seams right here. We got the lightning bolt again represented. Everything looks great on him. He looks phenomenal. We're going to set him back down, and I want to show you Jay Garrick's helmet. Now that I have a 3D printer, I could actually make like a little stand to go either maybe next to the figure or in front of him, because on the show, this actually sat in a podium with little plexiglass cover or glass cover to it. So as a remembrance, because who they thought was Jay Garrick was actually someone else. But you know, they wanted to memorialize him at that point. This is the civilian head of Grant Gustin, and this looks so accurate it's not even funny. Let's see if I can get this to focus right. That's the thing with a hot toy. If you have never had one before, the amount of detail. I mean, you can see his eyes glistening. The hair sculpt, I think, is really great. It is definitely Barry. It is definitely Grant Gustin. And I've seen some better hair sculpts in the past couple years. But for him, I think this looks great. This definitely looks him. Season one, I mean, hell, if you looked at Grant Gustin today, this is pretty much him, you know, with short hair and no beard. But it looks so good. It looks so awesome right there. And of course, when he's in civilian, or when you have a civilian head on, you can have his hood, his cowl, draped down on the back of his neck. I love that they give us these little things like that that you can do if you want to. That is, if you want to. I'm probably, for the most part, I'm probably going to either do one or two things. I'm going to keep his cowl on, or I'll have it where maybe he has. I mean, this is a thing from the show. You could actually put the helmet on him. It's not always the greatest on him, you know, because of his kind of pompy hair. But we can do it where maybe he is maybe even holding the helmet. So there's a lot of things we can do. I will tell you this. I will be putting the Tachyon enhancer on him because I just think it gives the suit just a much better look, and I just love it. Now, of course, with the hands, we get open hands. We get hands where you can hold the helmet. You get several different options for the hands, but even here, they did great detail on here. Just tremendous detail on here. I am so ecstatic. You guys just don't know. I'm so happy to have the flashback. Um, as a kid, you gotta understand, as a kid, um, I didn't have a whole lot of really great things in my life as a kid. Things were they were tough at times, and for me, the escape was comic books. When I was a kid, of course, I read Superman, read Spider-Man, and Batman are probably two of my all-time favorites. Um, Spider-Man, Wolverine, the Incredible Hulk. Those are some of my big favorites growing up as a kid. DC, it was of course Superman, because who wouldn't want to fly? Who wouldn't want to have all those powers? But then there was Batman, who is someone who lost his family at a young age, but he didn't have any powers. He just had his wealth for all those gadgets that he used. But for the most part, he used his brain, and that was kind of Barry also. Barry Allen, his mother was killed. He lost her at a young age. His father was framed for it. And, Barry did not have an easy time growing up. But in live action, we didn't really see that too much in live action. There was an earlier show from the 90s with John Wesley Shipp, who actually plays Barry's father in the CW one. Um, his origins were a little bit different, but it's great for a live action show. Maybe some of the effects don't hold up to today's standards, but if you're a comic book fan, you love live action comic stories, it's definitely worth a go. You gotta remember the '90s were a different time; things were a bit cheesy back then, uh, but it still is a good watch. It had like a season or two. I'm such a big Flash fan. I actually had that autographed. I have the DVD set autographed actually. One day I hope to be able to meet Grant Gustin and maybe get him to sign the Hot Toy box or something. Be cool to autograph the back of this. That would be awesome. It would. It would definitely be awesome in my book. Um, but the CW iteration of the Flash, Barry lost his family, and one of his neighbors, the father of the girl he went to grade school with, who was actually a cop, who was the cop on scene. Now, Joe took Barry in because Barry didn't have anyone. His mother was killed and his father was going to prison. Well, Joe took him in and he tried to raise him as best as he could. But Barry kept wanting to sneak away to see his father at the prison, or he was always trying to come up with ideas on how to find the bad guy that did all this. Things were not easy for Barry, and I that's one reason why I really like the CW take on him. Um, some of the seasons, some of the later seasons weren't the greatest. Okay, maybe they did bring certain elements of the lore of the Flash into play. More Speed Force, more. It just felt like they're kind of dragging things out a little bit too much. Um, but this was the earlier seasons were really great. You know, from this happy-go-lucky nerd who is gifted these powers to someone who is, he's been hardened, he's lost people, he's been put through his paces, he's gone through uh, his crucible, if you will. Well, of course, this is part of the Arrowverse, so he learned a lot from Oliver Queen and from, of course, Supergirl. He was part of that, and he was an anchor of it. And sadly, after the CW, after the Flash, finished its run, so to speak, the CW kind of like tossed the Arrowverse aside, so to speak. But this is still one of my favorite of all time, and this is this is special to me. It is. So we're going to go ahead and break out the stand, and let's just jump right into that. What do you say? And here we go, just a very quick pose of Barry right now. Sometimes you do have to play with the effects a little bit. This is not exactly how they describe how, because they actually give you a little booklet right here on how you can display some of the effects, the lightning effects. And it is something that you can do if you really want to. You can play around with a lot of it. So I have this stand right there. And what's great is the emblems, they just kind of peg right in. There's a double hole peg right there. Bada bing, bada boom. And there we go. We got the little diorama piece right behind him. And it looks great. Yes, they don't have him perfectly leveled on the ground, but he's the Flash. What do you expect? I do like the base where it says the Flash. The Flash right there. It's got like little street lines right here, so it makes it look like he's actually on the actual ground, running at the speed of light. I mean, it's awesome. I love this piece. I'm happy to have this back in my collection. I'm going to be putting it right behind me so you guys can see it up there. I have a lot of Hot Toys to go through. I shouldn't say a lot. I have a few. I have a few Hot Toys I need to go through, but Barry Allen, Grant Gustin's Barry Allen the Flash from the CW show. This just looks awesome. I have it back in my collection for the second time in my life, and I don't even have the right words. Uh, and apparently, I am blocking my camera. But this is just so awesome, guys. I mean, it's great. I love it. You know, the thing is with Hot Toys, they bring out a whole nother level that you didn't even know was out there. I mean, yes, it is 1/6 scale, but think of it nowadays. I mean, you're spending probably 100 to 120 on, let's say, SH Figure Arts or Mafex figures. And don't get me wrong, those full scale, those 6 inch or 6 inch and change scale figures are great, and they have amazing quality, amazing paint apps. But also on the flip side of it, you can get something like this, maybe around 230, 250 brand new. There are some Hot Toys that look even more amazing, and they're about maybe 300, 300, 350, depending. But a lot of those larger ones, they have so many extra accessories and so much detail and just so much more that is thrown into it that they definitely are worth it. It adds a whole nother dimension to it. I mean, take a look at this. And now let's say I pull up Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order. I mean, obviously you can see the scale difference is right there. Obviously, from a 6 inch figure to a 1/6 scale figure, and also, I mean, it just, I mean, they don't really compare, but I'm sure there are 1/6 scale figures of Cal Kestis that would be just as amazing. But they're posable statues. I mean, this looks like it's right from the show. It really does. Um, but guys, that's all I have. I really didn't want to do a whole breakdown like, hey, take a look at this. We're going to do this pose, do this pose. You guys have seen it to death. There's so many amazing content creators out there who do this on the regular with 1/6 scale. I am but an amateur, so I'm not going to fake the funk here. Um, this is just, I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to share that something I had in my collection that I had to give up, it came back to me, and it's such an awesome feeling. When you have to give something up, or you choose to let go of a piece, maybe you aren't vibing on it anymore, maybe it's out of necessity, whatever the case may be, it's definitely something that leaves you feeling a bit weird, you know. But when you can come across it again and you can reacquire it, whether you're jonesing for it again or you just really missed it because you missed how it felt, seeing that in your collection. I mean, Green Ranger, he was only a $99 statue, or, you know, 1/6 scale figure when I got him. He's obviously gone up in price since then. Would I ever consider getting rid of him or letting him go? No, no, not by any means whatsoever. Um, Flash, if I can help it, he's never gonna go. If I can help it, as long as I don't have any, you know, tremendous bills or anything, he's not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. He's going on the shelf, and hopefully he's going to stay there, along with many more that are going to be unboxed. You guys can see all those boxes I have behind me right there, right? Yeah, we have one, two, three, four boxes there, plus a 1/6 scale White Ranger to go with the Green Ranger. So that's five 1/6 scale figures with another one on the way. So guys, please stay tuned to that. And by the way, guys, if you're curious about my original video and unboxing the Flash, I'm going to have that links in the video description below, so please check that out. Do a little comparison. Check out the quality of the video. See how goofy I was. See how, maybe how awkward I was when I first did the unbox. And see my reaction to opening it up for the first time and seeing it and just geeking out over everything. You guys will get a kick out of it. But guys, that's all I have for this video. If you liked this, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know in the comment section below. But hey guys, if you want to see more videos, you want to see more content of maybe me doing an unbox or maybe me revisiting some past content, let me know in the comment section below. But guys, as always, you can see at the bottom of my screen, I have my socials right there. You can always find me on PlayStation, add me at Daves_Dimension. You can always message me on Instagram at Daves_Dimension. And if you feel so inclined, you want to help chip out financially with the channel, we have our PayPal at Dave's Dimension. But guys, you can always email me also at davesdimension78@gmail.com. If anyone out there wants to collab in any shape or form, don't forget we also have our Tuesday night talks, where if you have a small channel, maybe you're up and coming, you want to spread your fan base a little bit, you want to do some cross content, always hit me up. Tuesday night talks is where we open up the dimension for you and anyone who's out there and you want to talk about your Etsy store. You have a YouTube and it's an Instagram that you are promoting. Maybe you're on Kick, Twitch, whatever the case may be. Come on in. Email me. We'll set up a Tuesday night where it's going to be all about you and your content, guys. But guys, until next time, this is Dave from Dave's Dimension saying keep on busting. And you know what I'm going to say. I say it every single time. I will always catch you on that flip side. Take care, guys.